It's 4 o'clock on a Wednesday, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for another exciting episode of Taxi's Quarantini Happy Hour. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. And here we go. Thank you, fake band. Thank you, fake audience. Ooh, matches my outfit. Let's see who's in the chat room. Looks rather active in there. Wow. I'll say. Here I am. Yep. I was blowing my nose a little late. Hello, Ian Shortle, Darren Fletcher, Giovanni Lanza, Kristen Knight, Jesse J. Peck, Martin Gravel. Very active group for not a lot of people yet. Terrell Beckless, Mark Real, Andre Sapanian, Il Rosso Emil, Michael McGraw. Hello. Hello, you guys. How are you? Hello, Brad Gray. Alan Hall. One by one, they're showing up. Lane Bell and Shrek. Pierre Venio. Cass McKenty. Peter Rayhill. 6 like. Yes. Hit that like. Hello, Khalid. Twice in one day. I want to say thank you to Khalid. He got me invited to be on a panel earlier today for the Ontario Film Festival, along with a good friend of mine named Michael Kruk, who is a composer, and our very own Matt Vanderboe. That was a lot of fun. Did that a couple hours ago. Excuse me. Got a little bit of congestion going on there. Not COVID. I hope. Lucian Lewis, Darren Fletcher. So, update on the road rally. All of a sudden now sponsors are showing up going, yeah, I want to be a sponsor. I need, give me a half an hour slot. And it's like, dude, we are sold out. So I am adding some sponsor-driven sessions during the run-up to the road rally and the road rally prequels. It's looking like we may end up with like 10 prequels. I thought maybe we would have 5, 6, 7, I don't know. Anyway, I think we've got 9 of them so far, another 1 or 2 coming up. So we're going to have a very busy week starting on... Oh, where's my book? Where's my calendar? Here it is. Yeah, my desk is out, my junk has outgrown my desk, so now I'm using the floor. Starting on Monday, November 2nd. So the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we are going to have a lot of prequel sessions, and those will be open to all people. And then when the rally starts on Friday, that is open just to taxi members and your guests. By the way, speaking of guests, little flimsy on the guests so far. Focus. Come on. Focus. You can do it. Why is it not focusing today? There we go. What did I want to say? Oh, yeah, we've only got like a couple hundred guests so far, and I think I figured out the reason. And I'm guessing that the reason is during the actual like physical road rally, a lot of the guests are spouses. Or possibly people saying, yeah, man, come with me to the road rally. Want to split a room? I think that people love sharing the cost of the room with a friend, or maybe bring a bandmate, a spouse, whatever. So, yeah, don't be shy about inviting your guests. We want to have a good turnout. Want to make sure they use it well. Yeah, you know what? A lot of times... when people get free stuff, they don't use it because it doesn't have value. People tend to use what they pay for. Closet door is closed. Thank you, Jesse. I will go fix that right now. There you go. Good call, Jesse. Take out my phone and silence that while we're at it. Yikes. No, I don't want to take a picture. I want to mute my phone. Anyway, so yeah, invite your guests. My daughter asked me if I'm always so out of focus. Well, I didn't know your daughter would be watching today. Otherwise, I would have made sure I was in focus, and I will definitely be watching my language today. Um, Keep it nice and clean. So, what else did I want to tell you? Hello, Dave Merkel, Karen Brasher. Oh, I have exciting news. Izotope. Let's talk Izotope. They are now confirmed to be a sponsor. And they would like to know, Liz, you might want to grab a piece of paper and get ready to take down some totals. Izotope is going to offer a product at a steep discount. They actually use the word steep for taxi members. And they would like to know, are you more interested in the ozone products? I feel a burp coming. I'm so professional. So they have RX, which is their post-production software, and there are various versions of that. Excuse me. And then Ozone, which they have the Elements version for $129, the Ozone 9 Standard, which is $249, and then they have the Ozone 9 Advanced, which is $499. So they want to know what you guys would like them to feature and give the steep discount on. The RX-8 just came out. Yep. Izotope Spire Studio is fantastic. RX. What is Ozone? Ozone is really high-end audio software. Izotope Music Production Suite 4. RX-8 would be great. Wow. Interesting. I didn't think that you guys would be as interested in RX-8 as you would be Ozone, but I don't know. Anyway, so if you guys would go to izotope.com, not right now, but between now and Friday's show, actually, you know what? We will do the voting on Friday rather than today. This will give you a chance to check out the products. So they want to know between RX and Ozone, which of those two products and which versions. And then we will do a little survey on Friday's show and let them know so that they can do that. So there you go. I'm excited to have them on board. We've wanted them for years, and frankly, it's largely due to you guys saying all those nice things about them in the chat room, so that it prompted me to let our sponsor salesperson know that you guys were really pushing me to get them involved, and Izotope responded and said, yes, we will be there. So Ozone latest version, baby. Hello, Spiritual Jan. How are you guys? JP. Hello, all. So that's that. I talked to you about the guest, getting your guests. Oh, I know what else I wanted to ask you guys. So earlier today, when I did that thing for the Ontario Film Festival, one of the other panelists was my friend Michael Kruk, who is a composer. He does a lot of like BBC, I think it's BBC or Nature Channel or one of those things. That he does a lot of what do they call them? Documentaries. He scores a lot of documentaries. He's like a pretty high-end scoring guy for documentaries. And frankly, I was thinking about skipping this coming Monday's Taxi TV, because I'm telling you guys, I've been working every day from 8:30 in the morning, sometimes 7:30 in the morning, but 8:30 in the morning. Last night I think I worked till 11:15 at night. The night before I worked till midnight. Night before that was midnight. I'm just dragging my butt. And then I go to sleep, 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go, the road rally. Happens every single year now. for 24 years, the road rally just wakes me up all the time, and my eyes pop open, and I think about the road rally and all the little things I have to take care of, and I can't fall back to sleep. So I feel like crap. I was thinking about not doing Taxi TV on Monday so that I had more time to do more of those little odds and ends. And while I was on the panel today, I was thinking, I haven't had Michael Kruk on the show in probably like 2 or 3 years. Would you guys be interested in having me do a full 90 minutes with him so that he can talk to us about scoring documentaries? Just curious. Even though it's going to involve yours truly having to spend time writing questions so that I can appear to be intelligent and well informed. No, I'm not a workaholic. I'm a brain dead workaholic. Yeah, Michael Kruk's book, Writing Music for Television, is very, very good. You need to take care of Michael too. Yeah, Michael Kruk is great. Am I allowed to give myself a raise? I'm really not a workaholic. I'm just determined to make this virtual road rally go really, really well. And frankly, I thought it would be easy. It's not. For me personally, harder than a normal road rally, although I don't have to deal with staff members coming in my office every few minutes saying, what about this? Is it okay if we load the truck an hour later? T-shirts. I need to order T-shirts. I'm going to take care of that after today's show. Do I have a PA? Yeah, I've got people that, staff members that are all saying, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? But honestly, they really can't do the stuff that I'm doing. I need to do. They can't, cut the deals with the sponsors. The staff just doesn't do what I do. They do what they do really well so that I'm allowed to do what I do. But as much as I would love to have, somebody here at the house helping me, and obviously my wife is here, but she's taking care of member services stuff. Songs from a headband. You were in one of my dreams. I asked you a question of how many songs I need to write each year for the next 4 years to make $500,000 in the fourth year. You would need to write a lot of songs, a lot of songs. Anyway, I'm thinking about Michael Kruk pronounces his name Cook. He's never told me that. Been out to dinner, I think, a couple of times with him. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is. I'll have to ask him. Anyway, I will see if he's available, and we'll have him on the show on Monday. But please don't forget, make yourself a little note now so when today's show is over, you go to izotope.com and check out their products, and we will do a little informal survey on Monday because they want me to let them know ASAP so that they can get their stuff together. Michael McGraw, I asked him at the rally, really? Well, why would he put a silent R in his name? So that's that. Have Michael Kruk as a guest at Virtual Road Rally. Frankly, I've thought about it, but I don't really have anywhere to put him. And man, oh man, there is one slot that I'm trying to fill. Right now, I've got 2 music supervisors on a listening panel, and I'm trying to find a third, but I can't remember which kind of specialty, because, there are music supervisors for reality shows. There are music supervisors who work on like episodic dramas. There are music supervisors that work on independent films. There are music supervisors that work on big feature films. So I'm trying to get like one of each. And one of my, he says Crook. Michael Kruk. I think that if my last name were Crook, I might change it because that has a connotation, doesn't it? I had a soap opera music supervisor at the rally last year, so I didn't invite him this year. Um, anyway, so yeah, I've got a couple little fill-ins like that. Did I tell you that there was one guy who's? I think I mentioned this. I'll mention it again. There was one person that really wanted to do the road rally, but he said, oh, it's after the election, and I'm afraid that there are going to be riots. And if there are riots, I'm going to need to leave town. Then I won't have good internet. So I can't commit until like the day before the road rally. And I said, oh, man. So, yeah. Anyway, so any questions? Because honestly, I've been so busy, I didn't do any actual preparation. I answered the question, asked the question. Oh, in the dream, you answered the question by pulling out a shiny dime out of your pocket that said 1957 on it. So it's 57 songs written and produced a year starting this Saturday. Well, there you go. It's a little scary to me that I'm in your dreams, but I guess could be worse. At least you're not like a serial killer and I'm in your dreams. um, yeah, it is going mad over here with the election. It is just, the news is crazy. And you guys know I'm a news hound and I watch several networks. I try and at least watch like the first 5 minutes of different networks just to see what their lead stories are every night. It's just crazy. Richard Carr, you sure it wasn't 1957 songs? Yeah, that sounds more like it. I think you would need that many. All of them signed and out there in a couple of dozen libraries to start making that kind of money. And it takes time, it doesn't just happen overnight just because you have a quantity of stuff. Um, Ron Michaels, thank you. He says, you're doing an excellent job with all the crazy stuff going on. Thank you. Well, thank you for saying that. Pierre Venio wants to know what's the difference between dispatch and regular listings. All right, let's talk about that. That question gets asked a lot. And I think I've actually brought this up on a previous episode of Regular Taxi TV or maybe a happy hour. But we started Dispatch back in 2001 because all of a sudden we started getting a lot more requests for film and TV stuff. We used to run just record label stuff where labels were looking for artists for songs or they were looking for artists to sign. And then as the film and TV stuff started ramping up, we started getting a lot of requests where people needed stuff, in 4 days or in 9 days or in 2 weeks. Whereas all other listings typically ran for about 30 days because labels typically weren't under a lot of pressure to find something on a deadline, with the exception sometimes of people in Nashville. In Nashville, they don't go in and cut an entire album in like a 30-day or 60-day window. As soon as they find a song that they want to include on the album, they'll go in and cut it. So sometimes we would get requests from Nashville where, we're going in next Tuesday to cut a song. We'd like to find one more single to also cut while we've got all the players in the room. So those were kind of quick turnaround. Anyway, getting back to Dispatch. So we dedicated a staff member and an office, and I believe a support person to just Taxi Dispatch so that we could field those listings as they came in, get them written up in a hurry, get them blasted out in a hurry, and then gather the music, screen it, double check it all, and get it back out the door in a hurry. So it was almost like running a company within a company. Then over the years, the industry started going more film and TV heavy across the board, and we started working with a lot more libraries. And then all of a sudden, we noticed that we were just getting so much stuff for film and TV, but we noticed a trend amongst the members that the members definitely like submitting to library listings for instrumental stuff almost more than anything. And I think it's because it was easier to make and faster to make and they could crank out more of it. So over time, we just shifted Dispatch to be very focused on instrumental stuff for film and TV, mostly libraries. So that's what we did, and people seem to really like it that way. So we kept dispatch. We were thinking about getting rid of it, frankly. So we kept it, and so that's what it is. However, as I've mentioned before on the show, and I think I've mentioned in some emails, at some point soon, we were going to raise the price of taxi and renewals this year. But because of COVID and people, money hard to come by, people being out of work and not playing gigs and all that stuff, we've held off from doing it. But our overhead has just, we haven't raised the price in 28 years. And I'm doing this from memory, but I did a little research the other night. I think the average price of a house, again, I'm doing this from memory, but I'm close. In 1992, the year I started the company, the average home in America, I think, was 100,000, right around there. And now, 28 years later, the average price is $197,000. The average price of a car was like 16,000 back then. The average price of a new car now is $37,000. Our rent has gone up by a factor of 4 point something X, so more than 400% on the cost of rent for the office, which now we kind of know we don't really need an office, but unfortunately we've got 2.5 years left on our lease. What else has gone up? I want to say that the cost of personnel at the company has tripled over that period of time. Our advertising has gone up by about 400%. Taxes have gone up a lot, although they dropped back a little bit with Trump's tax cuts for corporations. But our payroll tax has gone up. Now we're paying payroll taxes for the screeners. That added, I think that's going to work out to $37,000 this year in extra taxes. Yeah, we do need more tax cuts. But that gets into a political discussion we don't want to have here. It'll just ruin our vibe for the day. Anyway, so what we will probably be doing when COVID seems to have calmed down and is becoming a distant memory and we raise the price, I think what we're going to do is roll dispatch into regular taxi. We generally publish, I think, 4 dispatch listings a week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but I think if we do an annual average, it works out to about 4 a week. We're going to roll those into the regular taxi listings and raise the price. We haven't figured out exactly how much we're going to raise the price, but it's just, we've been putting it off for 28 years, and it's just getting to the point. It's like, why are we working so ridiculously hard when the profit keeps going? We are in business to make a profit, and I want to keep providing a really high quality service with an incredible staff, and that costs money. So there you go. That's the other thing is not only, compared to, I think we had 3 staff members in 1992. At one point, we were up to 13 when we no longer had to deal with it. Do you know we used to have like 2 to 3 people at any point in time that did nothing but open up packages of cassettes and CDs all day long and hand enter them into the database. So we don't need those people anymore, obviously, because everything is digital. With rare exceptions. We get so few like CDs in the mail now. So the staff is generally around 10 people now. So while we have fewer staffers, we are paying the staff better than they got paid back then, just because the cost of living has gone up, and we obviously don't want people starving to work at taxi. Kristen Knight says, on the heels of what you just said, I have a question. It might be a little tone deaf, but okay. Michael needs a new fishing boat. No, I don't have a boat. How about you raise the price for new members but keep the renewals low? Frankly, the renewal price is really, it's always been $100 less than the regular price. And sometimes we do those 2-for-1 specials. We just had one of those go out, I think, in the last few days. So people end up getting a membership for $150 a year. As I was putting together some road rally promotional stuff, I saw a quote from a guy named Kerry Cox, who's been a member for quite a while. Very, very nice gentleman. And his quote was, "I can't believe Taxi does this convention. Other conventions that I'm paraphrasing here, but other conventions of this quality are $400 to $500 a ticket. I can't believe Taxi does this for free." So there you go. For the people that do the 2-for-1 thing, they get for $150 a year, and they get the road rally thrown in. It's a really good deal. So we want to continue to deliver high quality and tremendous value, but at some point we've got to be, we deserve a raise. Okay. Okay, Kristen Knight says, I discovered a very talented young man, 14 to 15 years old, playing the equipment at Guitar Center because he doesn't have any equipment at home. His music was amazing, and I would really love to help him. I'm not asking for an answer, but would you ever consider a junior membership for very young people? Honestly, we have discounts for military, and we've done student discounts in the past. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. So we don't have a junior membership, honestly, because even doing the student membership in the military or a discount for veterans, it's time consuming. There are all these little things we do that people just don't think about or aren't aware of, which is like vetting. Were you really in the military? Are you currently in the military? So now it becomes like a half an hour to an hour long process of back and forth emails. Can you send us a copy of your military ID? Well, I don't really want to. Okay, well, what else can you do to prove to us that you're a veteran? Because obviously if word gets out about that, everybody becomes a veteran just trying to get the discount. So I would certainly give him a healthy discount, but we're not going to create just like a junior membership. Okay, I'm getting caught up here. Taxi Senior over Led Zeppelin. I don't understand, Cass. No discount for fishing guides, Now, there is a group of people that I would most definitely. Fishing guides get free memberships. Just take them at their word. It's in the spirit of a military discount. Well, yeah, for actual veterans, yeah, we love our military, and it's just word gets out. People, you would be astonished at the creepy, underhanded things people do. People will call us and say, I didn't use my membership for a year. I want you to give me a free renewal. And we research and find out that they were never actually a member. They're just trying to trick us into giving them a free year of tax. We get all kinds of crazy stuff like that. It's all about that passport. Oh man, taxi geriatric, older than Satchmo. Why not open Taxi University as a new revenue stream? You can ask for tuition and get faculty members like JP. Frankly, I own the domain name musicu.com. And that was actually in our business plan to open up a taxi university. But there is this crazy little California law that if you are I forget, some kind of listing service, if you do what taxi does, you are not allowed to also sell education. Luckily, we always provided the Road Rally for free anyway, and Taxi TV for free anyway, and the forums for free anyway. Um, but yeah, in California, it's a crazy law that mostly applies to actors and actresses. People that do these big conventions for, come to our thing and meet a casting director and bring your resume and bring a DVD with your video on it and all that stuff. It's actually against the law if you go to one of those casting director classes that they generally charge like a couple $100 for a Saturday or something like that. It's against the law for the casting director to actually lay hands on the resume or videos of the people in the class. Because, of course, people who go to the class and pay their $200 for that Saturday so that they can have the opportunity to hand their music to the casting director, hoping that the casting director will then put them in the next big feature film they work on. So they passed a law, California, nutty regulations. And I understand it. There were people that were running those things in kind of a slimy way. But unfortunately, it prevents us from having musicu.com. So if anybody wants to buy the URL for big bucks, let me know. Crazy and law in the same sentence, quite common. Yes, it is. Yeah, I've had people say to me, why don't you just, start the educational thing under another name, and register the corporation in another state? They've got all that covered in the statute. Even my wife can't have a business that's anyhow related in any way to what Taxi does in her name. No family member, so I couldn't create Music U and have my wife be the CEO of that. They thought of everything. Akira, maybe Taxi University can be based in Tennessee. Would that help? No, sadly, it wouldn't. I can't, just moving it to another city, another state, another country doesn't work. Nope, offshore base. Can't do it. Can I check FJ music question? I was wondering if the music I submitted was approved by Taxi and I have no idea what the conditions are. I don't understand what that means. I need a translation on that one. Will there be a Taxi football team? There might be, but I won't be on it. I would be the coach, I guess. I certainly wouldn't be a linebacker. That's for sure. There's probably some screwy California law that says we can't have a football team either. He has previous questions, Michael. Okay, let me scroll up and see if I can find it. I'm scrolling, I'm not seeing it. Would you mind posting it? John Pearson, does that mean I can submit the same track to another library even after it has been added to Taxi's library? Taxi doesn't have a library. That's the thing, is we are the company that finds the music for the libraries, but we don't actually have our own library. After my music was approved and sent to a music library, yes, you are absolutely allowed to submit your music. Just because it's been sent to a library doesn't mean they're going to sign it. So submit it to as many listings, as many possibilities as you can, and whoever is first to offer you a deal is probably the company you want to go with. And you could practically bet on the fact that the first deal you're offered, you're going to go, oh, should I sign it? Will anybody else offer me a deal? And then you talk to your other fellow members on the forums and find out, this is a reasonable and fair and typical library deal. So you sign it. And then as soon as you sign it, you'll get another offer from another company and go, oh man. But you know what? There's an easy solution, which is just create another similar kind of piece of music. Obviously, don't copyright infringe yourself. But, if it were, you know, a mid-tempo dramedy piece with marimbas in it, and it was kind of quirky. Create another mid-tempo dramedy piece with marimbas, but use similar instrumentation, similar tempo, but obviously different chords, different melody, and there you go. And there's nothing more satisfying, I bet, than when you get contacted by somebody after you've already signed the first deal and you get to say, oh, I'm so sorry, that one was picked up already. But if you'd like, I can create a similar piece for you. They would surely say yes to that. And by the way, welcome to the chat room, FJ. And he was very impressed with the feedback from the screeners. I've got to say, if I can give our screeners a little, high five while I'm on air here, we've always had great screeners, but it just seems like in the last year or so, just such a great bunch of screeners. Angela, our head screener, does great work with them. Tom, who's the head of the A&R department, does a really, really good job of making sure that they all, do their job well. He and I work together in vetting possible new screeners. What else can I say? Eric, who does the scheduling of the screeners, and he and Tom collaborate on, do you think this person would be good for that listing? He's the one that makes sure that they're available and that they get the work done on time. The three of those people, Eric, Angela, and Tom, work in concert so nicely together and have got that department whipped into shape. I mean, I love them. They're doing a great job. And the feedback, what was the circumstance? Oh, when we've been doing some of the shows where we've done forwards and returns recently, and I've been seeing some of the comments from the screeners, like, damn. The new form we designed about a year ago, I think. We got rid of the yes-no forwards and returns and the stuff that was screened with a full critique. And we kind of met in the middle on that to create a more streamlined critique that would give you guys at least as much information, but in a faster format to work on for the screeners. And frankly, the screeners were a little slow when they first started using the new form. They were used to the old one. And, it probably cost us $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in screener slowdown over a period of the first 6 months as they got used to it. But we just took things that they were commonly writing, that were, problems that were commonly coming up over and over again, and made those the new checkoff items. Plus, the old critique forms were largely designed by John Brahaney when he was still alive. May God rest. What's the phrase I'm looking for? May he rest in peace. But JB gave us great advice and was very, very helpful on creating the original and then updated critique forms. But film and TV wasn't really his world, and we felt that we were sorely lacking in the specific stuff that related to film and TV on the critique forms. So we created new forms that were specifically for film and TV songs, film and TV instrumentals, songs for song pitches, and then artist pitches. And came up with all these different forms that were kind of laid out the same way. And I think that change in forms has allowed the screeners to give better feedback, and now, thank goodness, they're finally just about up to speed, so we're not losing money on submission fees in versus screener dollars out, which is kind of it's always been kind of a wash. How many screeners are there? I am guesstimating this number. Don't hold me to it, but I'm sure I'm within the ballpark. I would say between 25 and 40 screeners that are active at any given point in time. That's it. I want to say that we had to add, when they changed the law, the law that was primarily targeted at Uber and Lyft drivers so that they couldn't be independent contractors. Well, of course, that affected the music world to a great degree, affected a lot of industries to a great degree. Thank goodness they've overturned it, made an exception for musicians. And as of January 1st of 2021, we'll be able to make our screeners independent contractors again. But we had to add them all to the payroll. And I want to say that we had to add like 35 or 37 people to the payroll. Question: how can you take a song off a cassette tape over to digital for the vintage listings, or do we send cassettes? No, please don't send cassettes. You need to take a cassette player and find a way to get that audio into your computer so that you can digitize it. Mike S., I'm learning quick that one screener's queue of tin is another screener's queue of gold, and that equals resubmit. You know, I want to clarify something about the screeners. They are taught to not use personal taste. Their mission when they sit down is to look at that piece of music from strictly within the context of that particular listing. So we've had people say, well, I can't believe it. Screener number, 372 forwarded my piece of music for this listing 6 months ago, and now they returned it for this one, even though both listings were for, sad singer-songwriter songs. Yeah, but there's more to the listing than just simply saying that they're looking for sad singer-songwriter songs. So, they have to take it within context. So it's not just a matter of do they like it. Really, personal taste. They are very much trained to not use personal taste. And frankly, they're also professional and know the drill so well. We really don't even need to tell them that when they start working a taxi, but we have to just so that we can say, we did, we told them. But everybody in the music industry who works on, the process of curating music, I think everybody knows that personal taste, I could love something. Back when I used to be a screener, there were times that I loved a piece of music, but it just wasn't right for the listing. There were other times where I heard music that I thought, I don't like this at all, but it wasn't my taste that I was employing for that listing. So I would forward something that I personally didn't like. For instance, I don't like a lot of metal. I like some, but not very much. And there were times I heard metal stuff that just made my shoulders tight, made my head hurt, but it was right on target for what the listing asked for. Would taxis accept submissions on wax rolls? I guarantee you we've probably got a couple members at any point in time that would love to submit like that. Giovanni says, I make good use of what they write, returning me even if I do not completely agree with them. Yeah, you know what? I personally believe that the secret to getting the most out of the critiques is looking for consensus. One person's opinion in the context of that moment in time for that listing is somewhat valuable. And they may say something like the hi-hat is just way too loud in the mix. Well, of course, that has nothing to do with that particular listing, but it's just they're throwing that out there as, oh, and by the way, the hi-hat is really loud, or it may be so obnoxiously loud that it would take it out of contention for the end user that would be getting the music. But when you get 2 or 3 different screeners who are working on different listings and hearing something in different contexts, and they all have that same comment about the hi-hat or something that is unrelated to the context of that listing, that's gold. That is where the gold comes in. You've got 3 industry professionals who are listening very objectively, objective in the sense that if they notice the hi-hat, they're listening subjectively. I guess it's a blend of both. They're listening objectively and subjectively for that listing at the same time. But yeah, look for consensus. That's where the gold really lies. And you're right, there never is enough cowbell, Richard Carr. Question from Mark Reel. I don't know why I'm congested today. Sure, you may have answered this before, but how many songs can I submit for the Road Rally critiques? I know there's no guarantee of being critiqued. We didn't limit the number. We thought about it, and then we just said, you know what? Obviously, we don't want people to be obnoxious about it, and we're sure that some will. I wouldn't submit 5 things or 10 things. I mean, it just seems a little unfair to other people if you're trying to goose your odds. But if you've got 3 strong pieces of music that seem right for that panel, I wouldn't be afraid to submit 3. Um, also, we've seen in years past where we always pick stuff randomly. We used to just whoever was playing DJ at the road rally would just shut their eyes and just stick their hand in the bin next to them and pull something out, look at it, and go, okay, this next one is from John Doe, and it's called I Love Goats. That was for you, Cass. It's Now we do it with a little random number generator that just spits out a number. And even in the ballroom at the hotel, we've seen cases where we get the same people getting pulled even by random numbers because they just submitted so much stuff. And we just won't play it. If somebody got played on the first panel and now by random number they got picked again to be played on this panel, it's like, let's give somebody else a chance. And we hate making that call because, it's like, oh man, that person just wasted $5 submitting that. But in the end, they didn't waste the $5 because at the end of the rally, after the rally is over, I think 10 days after, 30 days after, whatever, we go through and screen all the stuff that was submitted for the panels on a basis of, is this good enough that a music supervisor should hear it? Is it good enough that libraries might be interested in signing it? It's not for a particular request, but is it just generically good enough and library-like, or something that is film and TV friendly, or whatever the circumstance? And then we send it to them. So you really do, to the panelists. So you really do get 2 shots. One, at getting played in the virtual ballroom this year, and number 2, making it over the bar of, is this generally good? And it gets sent to the panelists. And honestly, we can't guarantee that the panelists will listen. I know all the panelists personally. Some of them are more prone to listen than others. I mean, I know I have music supervisor friends that just listen to ungodly amounts of music. I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Frank Palazzolo, I think he said he auditioned 1,000 pieces of music. They were songs, 1,000 songs in an hour. I know that seems unreal, but other music supervisors, when I said that to them, like trying to bust Frank for exaggerating, they said, no, I can see that. And basically it's because they listen to a few seconds, go, no, not the right vibe, not the right tone, not the right feel. They know almost instantaneously. And I know it sounds like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't listen to the whole song and absorb it and really find out what it was all about. How can they know in a few seconds? But we all do that in the car, certainly in the days of listening to a lot of radio in the car. You would hear something come on and immediately you have a sense of, I want to listen to this or I don't. Liz is saying, don't give up, Aaron Northern. I'm guessing he's been trying to ask me a question and I've been missing it. Maybe not. Looking. Rick White says, I believe in taxi screeners. Yeah. People want to consider them gatekeepers. I hate that when people call them gatekeepers. There's this perception out there that people in the industry sit there listening to music or throwing it away. Not the taxi screeners, obviously, but, I think that people think that A&R people and music supervisors, people who are in the business of choosing music, are like, ha ha ha, broke another heart today. they're looking for what they need, and they won't stop until they find it. I saw a question from Andrei Stepanian. How many songs are picked for each panel? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. If I had to guess, I would say 20-ish. And that all depends on how long the panelists ramble on about feedback. Every year before we start the panel, I say to the screeners, always before we walk on the stage, the last thing I say is, guys, remember, keep it short and pithy and to the point, and don't pile on. I don't need four of you all giving feedback on one thing, because everybody in the audience wants their thing to get picked. So I'm going to go to the person on the panel, and I do. I look at them and I look to see who's writing something. I look to any of the panelists that kind of look up at me and kind of give me the eye. And when the music stops, I go to them, because they've kind of implied that they want me to go to them. And then maybe another panelist will raise their hand and say, by the way, I also noticed XYZ about that song. And then sure enough, the other two panelists want to chime in. It just goes on and on and on. Okay, from Aaron Northern, his question, which Liz has posted for him. Michael, if you're getting a ton of forwards over 2 or 3 years but no placements, what's the next move? You know what? I want our more experienced members to answer that. John Pearson, I need to have a mute button like the debate. John Pearson, what would you do if you got a bunch of forwards and didn't get any placements? I kind of remember that there was a point in John's taxi career that was happening, if I remember correctly, right? John Pearson, I would keep writing. Yep. You know, I don't know, Aaron. Gosh, we had one guy who had like 250 pieces of music that were forwarded and never once got offered a deal. I was astonished by that. We spent like 4 hours researching that, and several staff members working with me on the research. And what we discovered was he was really good at making drones and got a lot of drone forwards, he was submitting a ton of drones, got a lot of forwards. And frankly, we forward a lot of drones because our members are really good at making them, but a library only needs 10 or 20 drones. They don't need 125 of them. So, and just as luck would have it, his stuff never got picked. Maybe there were other drones people liked. Maybe they found what they needed after listening to the first 30. I don't know. There are all these variables that can affect it. All I can tell you is that if you're getting forwarded a lot, stick with it. I'm sure it's got to be heartbreaking. It's got to be frustrating. I feel it. I really feel your pain. But sooner or later, and the guy that had 250 forwards, he eventually got forwarded to one library. The library fell in love with him and signed a bunch of his stuff, and now he's getting placements. So I wish I had better advice. There is no magic formula. It'd be funny, Michael, if it was just you, Michael, and use local elementary school kids as your screeners, like those YouTube videos of kids listening to 70s rock for the first time. Yeah, we have people that always say, whenever people are pissed off that they didn't get a deal or didn't get forwards through Taxi, and they go on forums and other places, comment areas under videos. Yeah, I used Taxi for a year. I didn't get anything. None of their interns thought my music was good enough. We've never, ever, ever, ever used an intern. Ever. Not once. Yep. Write, submit, forget, and repeat. Absolutely. I believe there are 5 panels. 3 out of the 5 are instrumentals. I just submitted one for the happy ending, 4 for the first instrumental panel, and 4 for the second instrumental panel. Yeah, I think we've got an instrumental panel with library people. Another instrumental panel, which is two reality show music supervisors. I actually had an editor um, that was a video editor who works on a ton of really good TV shows, many of them reality shows. I can't believe I said good and reality TV in the same sentence. That was funny. And now he's backing out because he doesn't want to be critical of people. Um, I don't know. We've had editors on listening panels two or three times in the past, and nobody on a panel has ever been like, nobody's ever stood up in the ballroom and went, "You're a jerk. I can't believe you said that." And usually, like 90% of the time, panelists come up to me or send me an email after the rally. They give me a hug after the panel and say, "Wow, man, that was so much fun." Yeah, and then we're doing instrumentals, just everything across the board for the happy ending panel at the end. Um, and I am limiting the number of panelists this year, kind of for two reasons. Number one, bandwidth is an issue. On the amount of bandwidth from the people coming to us on a video stream into us to send it out to YouTube is a bit of an issue. The amount of bandwidth that I've got here, which is, I'm trying to double my bandwidth at the house. And so all the bandwidth issues got me thinking, every year, one of the problems that I don't like about the Road Rally is when I've got 4 or 5 people on a listening panel and they all want to chime in, there's just this incredible urge to give more information, which I understand and appreciate. But I've got a lot of people sitting in the ballroom who want to get their music heard. So it's frustrating. It's like I don't want to be rude to these people, and I try to move them along, and I try to go, yeah, we got to move on, John. Sorry, I can't take your comment right now. But I'm kind of curious to see if we only have 2 or 3 people on a listening panel, if it will go faster, be more efficient. So it's a combination of bandwidth and me wanting to satisfy my own curiosity. All the non-forwards get a review by the local kids at the elementary school. Crash gates. What will happen to taxi if you retire, Michael? Hopefully not anytime soon. I wrestle with that all the time. Um, I'm 66. I feel like a very young 66, other than some joints getting creaky. Um, Someday I want to retire or semi-retire, or at least spend a little time fishing or golfing or flying remote control planes, um, squishing gophers, whatever. Um, in my perfect world, if there was a way for the staff to buy the company and own it, I actually talked to somebody about that like 20 years ago. My then business partner and I met with a company that specialized in doing staff buyouts of companies. They know. I would really appreciate it in retirement if the people running the company say, whenever faced with a problem or an issue or a decision to make, would think, what would Michael do? But that's my ego talking. And, maybe somebody else would take over taxi and make it far better than I have. I can't be so in love with myself that I think that only I have the power to make taxi a great company. I think that there are other people out there that maybe have a vision that I didn't have, or maybe want to grow it to be much bigger. Who knows? I don't know, but I don't know. I don't look a day over 64. What if we all chip in and buy taxis? Yeah, I mean that would be awesome to have a member, a customer owned company. Uh, Yep, I have flown my remote control plane in the Grand Ballroom several times, actually. I've got some little guys that are like this big, maybe 14, 16 inches, little battery operated guys. And while on Thursday night, while everybody's in the registration line and the staff is running around doing their thing, if I get like a half an hour that I probably should be eating dinner, I go up to the room, grab my remote control plane, and fly it around the ballroom. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good stress reliever. When you're flying a plane, if you don't want to crash it and end up spending a couple $100s to replace it, you got to really concentrate. When you're concentrating that much on a specific thing, you can't let all this other stuff enter your head and you know. How much will it cost? I don't know. I've never had the evaluation done on the company. Um, Darren Fletcher's on the ballroom floor for one of those flights. I want a blimp with a GoPro camera. I don't know. I think the video would be very boring because it'd be very slow. Just get a drone. I've got a little, like a mid-sized DJI, I forget what it's called, drone, that only shoots like 780p, but the photos, I mean, the video looks amazing. The whole drone is about this big. I love flying that thing, but I haven't flown it in over a year now. Um, would I consider shares to members? I don't know. I mean, that's a whole, you know, we're talking about stuff I haven't even really thought about. Um, Everyone start saving your royalty checks. Anyway, it's our time has now come to an end, and I want to go take care of talking to our graphics guy about getting the graphic stuff uploaded to Cafe Press for T-shirts. And oh God, I hate calling AT&T. I know that's an hour on the phone. Anyway, see you guys. Whoa, Kira says, if taxi were member owned, can we still submit to listings? Is there a legal reason why employees can't submit to listings? Yeah, there's not a legal reason, but there's an ethical reason. It's kind of like a game show saying that, you know, anybody affiliated with the crew can't submit. Um, I don't know. You know, I should probably give it more thought. All I care about is that the company is run ethically. I would never want anybody to own taxi that. I would never want any of the competitors to own taxi. I don't think because I haven't seen one yet that I think works as hard as we do to be super ethical. So there you go. Remember, please, right now, before you get distracted and go watch TV or something, go to Izotope, Izotope, izotope.com, and check out the various versions of the RX and the various versions of Ozone, and be prepared to cast your votes on Friday so that we can get you a really good bargain on that stuff. Okay? That's it, folks. I'm out. You're out. We're all out. See you on Friday. Same time, same station. Bye-bye. I don't want to go. I love the chat room. Bye.